Ladies and gentlemen, now today we've got the video everybody's been waiting for, that glorious 5-star rank 4 Awakened Hawkeye gameplay from the skill gem, the 2015 skill gem from Variant. Now, if you don't already have a 6-star Winter Soldier I will say is kind of the slightly better option, at least in my opinion, for that gem. But if you got a 6-star Winter Soldier, man, use it on Hawkeye. He is so much fun. I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for Hawkeye, and especially when it came to my free-to-play account progression, I used a lot of 4-star Hawkeye to do like Act 5 100%, get Uncollected, do a lot of the monthly events 100% as well, because he's so incredibly useful for really stacked buffet paths, as we're going to showcase right at the start of this. But also, toward the end of this video, we're going to have a look at some Variant fights, some Realm of Legends fights as well, see if we can open Hawkeye up a little bit, but we also do have a tremendous amount of bonus from the synergies today. So the one with Void gives him 15% more attack to the Avengers, which I think are the ones just kind of listed in the Void synergy there. We've also got 10% attack from Nick Fury, 25% bleed damage from Black Panther, and also 5% crit, and also 40% damage over time from Darkhawk as well. So out of all the synergies that we got today, the Darkhawk one is probably the most valuable, man, because that 40% increased damage over time is just so nice with the bleeds. And as you're going to see in this gameplay video, with all the synergies, man, the bleed damage does really go up. So we're starting in the final chapter of Uncollected against the buffet path. We're fighting the Human Torch kind of mini-boss who starts with special 2, but also this lad has cornered as well. And if you have a look at that incredibly glorious bleed, man, you can see that with every single tick, we're dealing just over 1,200 damage. So that works out off the special 1, just over 2,400 damage every single second, which is pretty wild, man. That's a pretty strong bleed in comparison to a lot of the other bleeds in the game. So yeah, with synergies, man, and a rank 4, Hawkeye is definitely putting in a fair bit of work here. Almost got this Human Torch down in 31 hits, so the damage output is pretty damn nice. Certainly not feeling like too much of a wet noodle. We land a parry, going for another combo. I think because we don't need to bait a special, we go for another parry instead of special 1, and then we can power drain him so he doesn't have any special, and then we just beat into his block, and he's dead, boys. He's dead. So that Assassin's Bleed was so good. It was just over 3,200 damage every single second, so a tremendous amount of value there. Now, next up, we've got 15% buffet 6-star Venom, who I thought was a pretty fun matchup to deal with. So yeah, just trying to get the bleed off on this one and keep him in the corner so that we don't trigger any buffet, because that 15% buffet, man, is absolutely lethal in the final chapter. Such a big heal there. So with Hawkeye's power control, if you can stabilize and get the opponent in the corner, you can make it so that you're almost like never dashing back, just because his power control is really effective. Off that special 1, we're draining 40% of the opponent's max power. So yeah, as far as power drains go, man, off the special 1, that is tremendously good value there. A lot of power control. Obviously not near the level of Magic in terms of power control, but still, as you're going to see, man, absolute denial there. Really good combo, just kept Venom in the corner, still dealt a lot of damage, bursted that lad down. So yeah, that wasn't really too much for a problem. And even in the past, if you're playing a character like 4-star maxed out Hawkeye quite well, you can deal with opponents like that on stacked buffet nodes, just by playing very aggressively, keeping them in the corner and trying not to dash back and trigger dexterity to heal them. Now, next up, I wanted to showcase this fight just because it's a brute force fight, and it actually works out quite well for Hawkeye just because of the aggression of this character, and the power control generally means you need to spend less time baiting out special attacks and just more time kind of laying into the opponent and being very aggressive, especially when it's very easy to get to a power drain and completely avoid a special 3. So yeah, you can see in this Gwenpool, man, just get her in the corner very fast in 15 hits, fire off the special 1 drain there, go for a stand-up intercept as well, and that's one of the things that you have to kind of master if you really want to play Hawkeye, man. And I'm still not absolutely perfect at it. I could say I could probably get about an average like 9 out of 10 of those stand-up intercepts, but they are a little bit tricky to get. So you can see we get them occasionally, and sometimes the opponent's just going to block straight up. Very luckily we got a block break there, so that was a pretty good time. Go for another combo, special 1, and Gwenpool is down. So even with the 50% attack reduction that we had in that matchup, still a very quick fight. Also, I wanted to showcase a matchup where we didn't have access to Hawkeye's bleed. We have this OG buffet Vision here, who's a little bit more of a slug, but I just wanted to showcase what this character's like when you can't bleed. But I would say kind of a good 50% of Hawkeye's damage output does come from those special 1 bleeds. They are a really, really big part of it, maybe even more of his damage output actually thinking about it. But yeah, the special 1 damage output is really, really big, but also having that power control, even in certain matchups like the OG Vision here, is just insanely valuable to being able to play a little bit more aggressively. And also in this matchup, we have the big advantage as well with the Synthesis pushing into special 3. We can just rob him of that and then get straight back into the fight. But I do make a few mistakes in this one, especially with the special 1. There are a few times I should have just blocked it, because you don't take any damage if you block it instead of dodging back. But it's just one of those things, you know, dodging projectiles becomes a little bit force of habit, so a couple of slip-ups here and there, man, but nothing too bad. And yeah, the beauty of Hawkeye is just being able to beat into the opponent and not really worrying about the special 3 and kind of pushing him like beyond that special 3 if you have a special 1 at your disposal, which to be honest is the majority of the time when you're playing this champion. So yeah, it's just really nice to be able to fire those arrows in and drain that power and just not really have to worry about managing it too much or kind of like dashing back excessively. So yeah, as you can see, we have healed him a little bit there, man, but it's not the absolute worst fight in the world. He's going down, had a cheeky little dash back there while Buffet was still on cooldown, and we fire off 1 arrow, so 89 hits there against OG Vision. So not too bad at all, man. He handled that matchup still pretty well. Now, if you don't have a Gambit to cheese the Emma Frost and variant, Hawkeye is honestly one of the best options. When I did 100% Ultron's Assault variant chapter 1, Hawkeye was like one of my MVPs, man. He works so incredibly well for this Emma Frost just because you can control her power so well. So she's like a double power gain kinetic reactor Emma Frost with like reduced special cost by 50%, so power's just absolutely crazy here. But as long as you throw those special 1s, man, it gets her just below the special 2, so it's like, you know, dodge a special 1, go in, use a 5 combo, fire off your special 1, rinse and repeat. I think I just used that interval there to get a little bit more power so that we would always be above there, and can just, you know, infinitely chain on those special 1s from there on out. But you can see, man, this Emma Frost is just getting absolutely nuked down so far, and because in this variant mode of gameplay she's always got more power than you, you can bleed her as well, which makes the fight considerably faster. So you can see we're doing some very nice bleed damage here. Granted, we don't have the wonderful Darkhawk synergy, so it's a little bit reduced, but I've got like triple Black Panther and Nick Fury that I'm running with this one. But yeah, honestly, this is one of my favorite matchups and interactions with Hawkeye, man. It is an absolute MVP one, and if you do get a 4 or 5 star Hawkeye, like Emma Frost can be a big problem in variant if you don't have an option. And yeah, he's just a great counter for her. Another really awesome matchup for Hawkeye is this variant Hyperion in 1.3. So he's got limited immunities. So for the first 25 seconds of the fight, he's immune to debuffs. And any opponent that is immune to debuffs or has masochism can't be affected by Hawkeye's power drain. It's a little bit of a weird interaction. So you can't power drain for the first 25 seconds of the fight. But after that, you can fire off your special 1. And it makes managing this Hyperion like so much easier. So yeah, I love this one, man. I managed to one-shot this Hyperion with Hawkeye on my free-to-play account. It was a really good time, kind of a maxed out 4-star Hawkeye there, but if you got 5-star one at rank 4, it's just, you know, maybe a little bit of overkill, but still a fun time. However, in this one, I do make a little bit of a mistake. So as you can see, we're now into the power drain territory. It's going really well, but I'm trying to be a little bit too greedy here. I should have gone 5 combo and then fired off another special 1 to power drain, but I was trying to get really close to the special 2, and I accidentally ended up firing off a special 2 instead of a special 1 there. So, you know, I was just a little bit too greedy there, man. I should have gone for the safer play. So yeah, here we've kind of pushed him up to his special 3, man. He's just gone for that. We go for a cheeky little backdraft, man, trying to bait him out. We get it. We get the special 1, and we can bring him back down to a more manageable level. So that's one of the great things about Hawkeye as well. You can get some cheeky backdrafts and actually recover a fight like this. So yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. But again, mistakes were made in the first place, man, which is all of the fun of watching my YouTube videos. So you can watch me make mistakes and learn for them. But variant Hyperion, another great matchup for Hawkeye. Now, I also went into Realm of Legends to record some kills against Winter Soldier and Captain Marvel and practice kind of my stand-up intercepts or recovery intercepts or whatever you want to call them. You'll see what I'm on about in a second. But yeah, I do get a little bit smacked in both of the fights, man. So just as a bit of a heads up, it's something that I'm not perfect at the moment. It does take a lot of practice to be very good at Hawkeye and Magic, and you just really need to get used to the timing. And it's been a while since I've sat down and played Hawkeye, so my recovery intercepts are a little bit sloppy, man, and especially in a fight where you've got like 200 or so hits, they definitely show some time. However, when you can pull them off, man, they are so much fun to do. So the key to mastering Hawkeye is firing off that special one, getting the power drain, and as soon as they're dashing towards you, just going in and getting that combo again, man. And if you can just keep on rinsing and rinsing that, like, you're gonna have such a fun time playing Hawkeye, and it really opens up the champion a little bit more because you can be a lot more aggressive and really kind of pressure your opponent and control their power, which is very, very fun, man. So far though, we're about 60 hits in, he's 75% down, so in comparison to all of the other champions' damage in the game, Hawkeye, you know, he's certainly not the best. He's a little bit lagging behind, but he's not a complete wet noodle either. This champion, as you've probably seen today in Uncollected and also Variant, you know, the fights, they don't last too long, man. They don't really drag out, so Hawkeye is definitely one of those champions that's just really fun to play. He's an effective option, he gets the job done, but if you're looking for like massive Realm of Legends, Labyrinth of Legends slayers, Hawkeye, he really isn't your guy. But you know, he'll work, man. He'll work for like Realm of Legends, but Labyrinth of Legends, you don't really want to be bringing in Hawkeye. There are much better options when it comes to that kind of content. But I must say, after playing a lot of Hawkeye on my free-to-play account, he is quite useful in certain scenarios and matchups for Alliance War, depending on, you know, who you're going up against and what you're trying to do. So if you can bleed the opponent, in some scenarios, he can be very nice, especially in kind of the lower to mid tiers. So if you get Hawkeye very early on as a 4 or 5 star champion, he can be a great asset for a lot of people. As you can see, we have screwed up a little bit and lost our combo, but we're doing alright, man. We're just slugging away, trying to, you know, get those recovery intercepts as quickly as we can and just keep a lot of pressure on Winter Soldier. And I think kind of that's the fun of playing a champion like Hawkeye or Magic, is just seeing how many of those you can smash out, because it is very easy to fail and get a little bit wrecked, as you've probably already seen in this video. But one of the things that Magic, you know, well, I guess a couple of the things that Magic has over Hawkeye is just the stronger power control, but also the limbo on Magic when you're doing a tactic like this just allows you more often than not to kind of recover the health and bounce back, because limbo is just active an insane amount of the time when playing that champion. However, here for a bit of fun, did fire off the Special 2. The Special 2 isn't really worth using in a lot of scenarios just because the bleed, it's a little bit stronger, but it also lasts a second less, and for 2 bars of power, man, you just aren't really getting good value out of it in comparison to the Special 1 if you have a look at the damage. So yeah, the Special 1 with the power drain as well is just much better to use, and without the Taskmaster synergy, the Special 3 doesn't have anything interesting on it, apart from with the Taskmaster synergy, it does apply the hemorrhage. However, I've kind of found that it's not really worth doing in a lot of matchups and scenarios, unless you maybe have like a dupe 200 Hawkeye, then the bleed might be a little bit stronger, but the bleed on like my 5-star rank 4 one is just above like 3,000 off the first Special 1, and that's enhanced even more with the Deep Wounds Mastery, whereas the Special 3 bleed is about 6,000 there, which could only be accessed with the Taskmaster synergy and the Awakened ability. So yeah, it just seems like Hawkeye Special 1 spam is the way to go. But again, I guess a disclaimer I should throw out there is I've got a bit of experience with Hawkeye, man. I've played this champion quite a lot, but I'm not like a die-hard Hawkeye stan. I haven't played this guy all day every day, and it's one of those things in Marvel Contest of Champions when you like main a character and you play that champion all day every day, and maybe you've been playing that character for like a few years, you know, like that champion inside and out. And when it comes to this game, that's one of the things that I'm very much aware of, man. I'm never going to know all of the champions inside and out. So if there is like anything that I've missed about Hawkeye today that you think is kind of worth including or worth knowing about the champion, please do let me know in the comment section below, because yeah, just as a standard disclaimer, man, I never know everything about any champion, but I'm always keen to learn as much as I can about every single champion in this game. And this game's getting so big and so expansive. Honestly, it's so mad the amount of characters that we have in this game now, and like how much there is to know about like all sorts of champions, because you've got the basic knowledge, you've got the in-depth knowledge. So yeah, it's just one of those things that's a little bit crazy, man, a little bit crazy, but it comes with the territory of being a game that's almost 5 years old now, man. So I just honestly can't believe that MCOC is almost 5 years old. But with that said, you know, Kabam, they're still Kabam, man. They're still making all sorts of super fun mistakes, especially when it comes to this month's update, which has been absolutely shocking for the last 21 days. I can't tell you like how many gameplay videos I've recorded and just like rage quit like halfway through just because there's been some sort of like combat freeze bug that kills me at like a very vital point, or like boss that I've been trying to get toward, or just something like crazy has come out of the blue, man. The last 21 days have just been absolutely terrible for combat bugs, and I believe a lot of the core stuff is being addressed in the update that's arriving Wednesday. But still, man, Kabam, they really need to pull a finger out, because they have just done an absolutely embarrassing job over the last 21 days. But it's still, you know, it brings me joy, man, when we can revisit champions like Hawkeye, find a little bit of value, have a little bit of fun, and I'm honestly loving that special one bleed, man, with the full synergies. It is so damn strong. I'd love to see like a Hawkeye revamp or some additions to the character that meant that the special one, even if you couldn't bleed the opponent, instead applied shock, which was equivalent to the bleed. I think that'd be really cool, man, and a great addition to the character to make him a little bit more versatile and usable in matchups, and a bit more strong where he can't bleed. So yeah, if I could like make one change to Hawkeye, that would be it. You know, when you can't bleed, you can shock the opponent. What else would I add to Hawkeye? I'm not really too sure, but let me know what you would add to Hawkeye if you're in charge of kind of revamping or improving this character in the comments section below. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully today you enjoyed the 5-star Hawkeye gameplay. If you did, please do smash that like button. It really does help me out. Aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a little bit of a beating here, skating on thin ice, boys, but we just about managed to claim it back, and that's Realm of Legends Captain Marvel Classic down in just over 200 hits, which is, again, not the best damage output from a rank 4, but still, Hawkeye is my guy. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.